Alright, so I wanted to make a video here about basic IP addressing for audio engineers. If you're at all like me, a few years ago this was an odd concept that was quite confusing since I'm not an IT guy. And so with most items you're going to be using, whether you're controlling say a Behringer console with an iPad or some other form of audio device, most of the time you can just automatic IP address it or DHCP. The problem is some items you can't do that. Like the Yamaha M7 doesn't allow for that. You have to have the exact IP address. And then as well too, if you're going to be doing say a bigger gig where you have a bigger network and you want to be on different IP addresses, that's going to be important. So this is just something every audio engineer should know. So let's start off by doing this. Let's make sure that our device, which I'm using this Shure AD4D dual mic unit here, let's just make sure that this is in automatic so we can start from that. So I just go to setup and hit next, and sure enough it's an automatic. So we've got an automatic IP address. So we're going to exit out of that. And then I'm going to go here to wire, or actually first let's check our network, our system preferences. This is on Mac. I'm going to show you on Windows after this. So we're going to go to network and we check, and here we are, we're using DHCP. And as you can see, this is the USB 10-100 LAN, and that's this guy here plugged into the computer and then obviously back into the network. So that's set up, and then here on Wireless Workbench, this is version 7. When you open this up, you want to check your network settings and just make sure that that matches, that you have the your USB or whatever device selected. Because even if you have it on automatic and that's not selected, it won't read it. So we save that. And I'm not opening a specific scene, so I'm just going to open. As you can see, our devices are online here, our AD4A. So I'm going to click this, and that's to recognize the device. And then as you can see, it's lighting up, so it's talking to each other. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the device here and I'm going to put it on a different IP address. So let's click in, go to device configuration, network configuration, setup, and then here we are. I'm going to change this to manual. And I'm going to just give it a random IP address. Let's just do, and then the subnet mask, let's go ahead and just do 255.0.0. That'll work fine. And then hit enter. So that's all you need there, is you need the, so let me show you that. So yeah, you need the IP address and the subnet mask. Now with IP addresses, when we do it up here on the computer, you need to have the first two numbers need to be the same. The second two don't need to be the same. It's kind of like, like country code, and then city, and then street, and then house numbers, the way I like to think about it. So you need to have the country code and city the same, and then the other two are like different addresses, so they're in the same area talking to each other. So now that I've set that, as you can see, my devices are offline now. Like Wireless Workbench, because they were there, but they're offline. I can't click them and they're not responding. So I'm going to close this and I'm going to reopen just to show you. Wireless Workbench. Okay, so I close this out. And as you can see, there's no devices anymore because it's not reading them online. So on a Mac, what you need to do to change your IP address is you go here to the network, under settings, you go obviously to your USB LAN device, and then it's still on DHCP, so I'm going to switch that to manually, and then what you do, you just match it to the IP address that you have here. So we've got 14.7, so we'll go 14.7, and then we can make this whatever after that. So I'm gonna do that, and then we gotta make sure that our subnet mask matches. So I'm gonna make that 255.0 all the way across, and then click apply. Okay, so I'm closing that, and now look, Wireless Workbench repopulated. Click, and there it is, talking to it again. All right, so that's basic IP addressing for a Mac. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to do this on Windows. Now, so the first thing here is obviously we got Wireless Workbench open. And if we go here to our settings, go to the little gear setting, we go to Ethernet, and we want to click here on Change Adapter Options. This pops up. You're going to click on your Ethernet device here, right click, Properties, and then once you're in Properties, you got to scroll down here to Internet Protocol version 4, click on Properties, and by default it's on Obtain Automatic. And because it's on automatic, as you can see, none of the devices are popping up here. So let's go back. Oh, gotta go back to the window. There we go. So we're gonna change the IP address to match the device. So 14.7.2, and then we gotta make sure the last number is different. So I'm gonna just make that 2. Same subnet mask. Click OK. And close that. Now, one thing you'll notice on Windows, just depending on, a couple of different things, Wireless Workbench, oh, there it is, it populated. It might or might not. You might have to reboot the program, but there it is, it showed up, or it might take a minute. So I click on that, and then as you can see, our device is flashing. I'll do that again. So that's how you do it on Mac and Windows.